This first question, Fred, we'll get to you in just a moment, but this first question is strictly for Shannon. It's a 100% Vallejo, California question. All right.
Okay.
I ask every guest that I interview from Vallejo this question. What is it about Vallejo that you think produces such amazing athletic talent year after year? We got Hall of Fame baseball players, CC Sabathia, Super Bowl winning running back CJ Anderson, former NBA player Brandon Armstrong, even your brother Jason helped lead his AFL team to championships, amongst many others that have come out of our city and excelled in sports and athletics. What are your thoughts? What do you think produces that? What is it about Vallejo?
I think obviously, we're the itty bitty city in the Bay, right? Everybody knows us as that. But I just think growing up, we just always had that family feel, right? So we all went to school pretty much with the same people for a long time. And the things that we did as young people, we got outside, we played sports. I know my brothers would go neighborhood to neighborhood to play other families in sports. And I just think that being such a small community and having the family feel, because everybody knew somebody or someone else's parent, right? And we had other sports that are going on, that people just participated in sports. And we only had our two high schools. Well, I'm sorry, we had three, but two public schools, right? And so I just think it's really growing up where people just always went outside and always played sports. So you can start from every era. We had so many different people from every single era, whether it was the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, and 2000s, and us going forward. I think what it is just the city, Vallejo, is just the family feel. We all wanted to do something together, and people always wanted to do something together. And sports is something that you can always do something together with someone else.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably what it is about Vallejo. The culture, the differences, the different people.
Yeah, I think it's so. I agree that it's very diverse, very cultural, and in order for all those cultures to survive in like a small melting pot, you had to mingle, you had to mix, you had to integrate with one another, and sports just kind of brought everybody together like that. Like I remember
Yep.
in every sport we played, you go to some cities or some schools and the whole team is white or the whole team is black or the whole team is Hispanic, and it wasn't like that in Vallejo. Like every team, it was every nationality on every team. That's just how it was. So I appreciate the
Exactly.
response to that question. I just like to know from what other people think about the city of Vallejo, because I kind of get the same feeling growing up there, that it's a big community that together has raised their children, and we're are the products of our parents coming together and bringing, probably making Vallejo what it is still to this day. Most of our
Right.
parents still live in Vallejo or in the Bay Area. Most of us that were born and raised there. Appreciate that. Fred, you have excelled in the sport of football, and your skills have taken you to the absolute highest pinnacle in that sport. When you look back on your years as a young kid in football, talk about how your mind and your skill developed over the years to lead you to want to be the best that you could be.
Well, I just think it started with just playing outside, like you guys just talked about. We played. I grew up in Tyler, Texas, small city similar to Vallejo, very small. It's kind of funny because our colors are red and white, and our crosstown rivals is blue and white, similar to
Hey,
Vallejo.
that's crazy.
So, but it was a family, the community. We all got together, and every kid loved to play sports. It was always everybody had brothers and sisters, and so I'm the baby of eight. So everybody had brothers and sisters, and the Friday night games was electric. I mean, everybody wanted to go and be a part of it. So I think growing up and working out with my brothers, playing with other kids in the neighborhood, and also I think a big thing is playing multiple sports. I think that's huge to development. And then once you decide to play one sport, you got all the different things from every sport to help you excel. From playing receiver, playing basketball, running track, all those different things I think helped me in different ways. So once I started playing straight football in college, I was able to excel more and more and get better and better simply because of playing multiple sports, playing against older guys, competing. And I think one other thing, and I think my wife's family had this too, was you had older brothers who didn't take it easy on younger brothers. You know, your older brothers try to whoop you more than anybody else. And so when you feel like you could go against your older brother, it didn't matter who the competition was once I left outside of Tyler. It just didn't matter because I felt like, as a kid, you feel like your older brothers are really good. But when you finally beat your older brother, man, you feel good about yourself. And I think that, along with playing multiple sports, helped me excel in football each year as I got a little bit better, a little stronger, and things of that nature.
Yeah, playing definitely. There's a lot of conversation today going on about kids whether they should play multiple sports or stick to specialize in a singular sport. Especially when they talk about basketball, that becomes a big topic. And I agree. I think that it makes us all better athletes when you involve yourself in multiple sports. You can learn something from in every sport that you can apply to all the other sports. Even if it's just discipline, even if it's something you learn from coaching, you might have learned something from another player. Do you think that Tyler? This is just a side question. Do you see Tyler, Texas? With it being as small as it is, and you mentioned the colors of the schools, do you view from your perspective, I know you have been to Vallejo at this point, you guys have been married 20 years, I'm sure you've been to Vallejo before. Do you see Tyler, Texas very much like Vallejo in the feel of the city?
That's a good question. I think it has a small amount of similar feelings just because of the family togetherness, people being together, kids getting outside and playing, and everybody trying to play every sport. Obviously, California is way more diverse than Tyler is, but I think the families, the friends, the kids you grew up with, I think that has some similarities. I do, and I think kids playing sports and wanting to play sports. And I also think the one thing we didn't talk about that helps with both cities is being from a smaller city and not getting talked about. You hear about all the surrounding cities, the big name cities. I'm from Tyler. You hear about Dallas. You hear about all these places. And I know in Vallejo, you probably heard about the other places, San Francisco and all these other places. And you're like, man, hey, we here too. And so I think it helped a lot of the young athletes. Like, look, I'm going to let them know that Tyler, Texas is on the map. Like, I'm pretty sure Jason and CeCe and all those guys felt like, hey, don't forget about the V now. We here.
Exactly.
So I think that they're very similar in those type of things.
Yeah, that kind of piggybacks off the response that Shannon gave to the first question. I think that's also part of the reason is, that small town feel. One, you're competitive in your small town. You have to compete just to make the team in your small town, and then let alone outside of that, you got to compete to get recognized by the other cities with the bigger teams and, more athletes and things like that. So, man, I appreciate your response to that.